Right, I'm going to hit my hand on my desk. We'll call the Public Works Committee meeting of Tuesday, May 11th, 2021 to order. Roll call, please. Let's have a quorum.
Alderman Michael Kane.
Here.
Brenda Brown.
Present.
Bob Iverson.
Here.
Heidi Patel.
Present.
Jim Bouchard.
Present.
Carolyn Wands.
Present.
Chairman Mike Porter.
Present.
7 present.
7 present. We do have a full quorum. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, we have the approval of the minutes of 4/13/21. If there are no corrections to those minutes, need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Kane.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Patel.
Yes.
Bouchard.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Porter.
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item number 3 is the approval of the agenda. There are no deletions from the agenda, so need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved. Second, Bouchard.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Patel.
Yes.
Bouchard.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Porter.
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item number
see-
4.
I see Alderman Pickering loves public works so much he couldn't stay away.
Oh, okay. And with that said, everyone's invited to join each committee meeting, so you can log on, you get the Zoom link, so feel free to do so. Okay, on item number 4 is audience comments. And for the new members, usually we hear if there's any petitions, we take those first for public comment. So 4A is a public hearing for a petition to vacate a portion of New Street for the OSF healthcare system. The public hearing is open for that. Is there anyone speaking on behalf of that?
I didn't receive any comments, Chairman.
Okay. Okay. So having satisfied that part of the public hearing, we'll move on to audience comments. 4B, a public hearing for petition to vacate a north-south alleyway near 628 North Gilbert Street for Salimi Properties LLC. We'll open up the floor if there's anyone here to discuss anything about that. I don't think there is, so that being said, we will close that portion of the public hearing on 4B, and we'll open it up for audience comments. Madam Clerk, do we have any audience comments?
No, Chairman, we do not.
Okay. Corporation Counsel, we don't have to do anything else with that, right?
Like we lost him.
He muted himself.
I'm muted. Thank you.
Okay.
Repeat the question.
We don't have to do anything more with that as far as roll call or anything. We just had public hearing.
Public comment, if there are no public comments, there's nothing to vote on. And in
Right.
fact, there's never anything to vote on in public comment. Opening it, closing it, or on a comment.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 5, Chairman's comments. I would just like to welcome to the Public Works Committee 4 new people. From Ward 1, Brenda Brown. From Ward 2, Carolyn Wands, also newly elected alderman. Ward 3, Heidi Patel. And Michael Kane was elected as our vice chairman. I, of course, am your chairman. Ward 6, would like to welcome James Bouchard. And welcome back Alderman and Vice Mayor Bob Iverson. As I told you when we met last week, we're pretty open. If you don't get your hand up and want to say something, just start talking. We're pretty lax in that. But welcome you all. I've known Carolyn for I don't know how many years. I think we even did a play or something together way back in the day.
It's been a while.
With Jim Beebe at the Fisher. Heidi works for the Housing Authority. She reminded me of that. But welcome all, and like I say, if you ever have any questions, feel free to call me or text me or email me, and I'll try and answer your questions.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you, Chairman, for.
you're quite welcome. Okay, moving on to item number 6, it's the payrolls. We'll be approving the payrolls from May 7th of 2021. Need a motion to put those on the table, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions on the payrolls? And I know this is new again to the new alderman. I know the mayor's planning on having an orientation, to let you know about how everything works, the different departments and things. So,
Chairman, we actually did have a mini orientation yesterday.
oh, okay.
Alderman Wands, Patel, and Teague were all with me. We did a little bit more in an hour and a half than I thought we would, but we did not make it through everything. So there are a few things yet, especially regarding finances, that we have yet to go through.
Okay.
But we're working on that.
Sounds great, Mayor. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I know you can explain everything in finance. I'd like to be at that meeting too.
And that might not be a bad
It's
idea.
not a bad idea. Yeah.
As we have Ashlyn and different people there to explain the process. I mean, might not be a bad idea. So, but that's kind of off the subject, but it's been moved and seconded to approve the payrolls. Roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you very much. Item number 7 is approval of the vouchers payable. These will be for the May 11th run. I need a motion to put that on the table, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any
Chairman?
questions?
Chairman, if I may?
Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to let the alderman know, especially the new alderman, that before we pay any vouchers, there are a couple of things that happen. Number one, whoever initiates the purchase has to create a purchase order that then has to be approved by the comptroller and myself. Once it's approved, that's when they purchase the item. Once they purchase the item, they must purchase according to their budget. And then once that's done, that's when it comes to you for final review and payment.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor, for that clarification.
Yes, sir.
Did we do a roll call? We need to do a
No,
roll
we
call.
did not.
No.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Patel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item number 8 is public transportation. Our director is Lisa Beese. We do have a resolution awarding a bid for the purchase of 4 buses. Need a motion to put that on the table, please. Is
So
So
moved.
moved.
there a second?
Second.
Okay, Lisa?
Okay, so the 4 buses that we're going to purchase are from the Rebuild Illinois Capital Grant that we were awarded earlier this year. I am going to add some matching funds from our federal dollars from the 5307 grant. So the total will come to about $1.8 million. So give or take a little bit. We're going to sit down as soon as we get the purchase order done. We'll sit down with Gillig and decide on what options we want to keep, what options we want to do away with. There are some, because of the COVID, there are some options that we're going to add that we've never had before, such as the driver shields and that kind of thing. So, we've got some things to think about this time that we haven't had to think about in the past. But as soon as we get this approved, then we'll get our purchase order out and get these buses ordered. Now, just for the new folks, buses don't come very quickly. In fact, after we order them, it will be probably 12 to 18 months before they even go into production. So it's probably going to be close to 2 years before we see these buses. But they will be, if they come in 2022 or 2023, they will be that year model. So, we'll have brand new buses. And so it'll be interesting to see how they've changed, because they always do.
Lisa, will these have the cameras and everything? Will they be equipped, or we have to get those separate?
The cameras that's part of the purchase price. The cameras are. The fare boxes, we will have to purchase, I believe. You know, I have to look at the specs to find out if the fare boxes are part of that. But the ETA system, the GPS system that we have our app, that won't be, they don't have any kind of an agreement with Gillig to go onto their property to install equipment. So that's something that we'll have to wait until they get here and get that installed. So, but that'll be about the only thing. The cameras will be on the bus.
And this is all teaming up with Tank Transit Authority of
Yes.
Northern Kentucky. So that way
Yes.
we get better purchasing power and different things.
And it saves me a lot of work. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Okay, I see. I'm not sure who put their hand up first, but I see Alderman Bouchard.
Yes, I was just wondering, are we going to retire or sell the older buses as the new ones come in? What will happen to those, Lisa?
We will retire those buses, and we were kind of talking a little bit earlier about buses. And typically, when we get new buses, we have to because these are replacement buses, so we have to take some off the road. And a couple of the buses that we're going to be taking off the road are in fairly good shape. However, we can't take them off the road until we get the new ones. So, as I said, we're probably looking at a couple of years before we can retire those.
Well, they may be good for backups if something did happen, the ones that are in better shape.
And that's what we've been using a couple of our very old buses for up to this time, because we have one bus that's still on the road that has technically been replaced, but you know, we've just had a difficult time, and so we've kept it out there. But you know, well, hopefully by the time the new buses get here, our 08s will still be in fairly decent shape.
Lisa, I have a question.
Well, let me get to Alderman Iverson first. Alderman
Oh,
Brown.
okay, I'm sorry.
Mine's very related to what Alderman Bouchard just asked. How many miles do you put onto a bus before it's put out to pasture? I imagine it's an awful lot because they're running all day long.
Right. The buses that we are replacing have between 350 and 400,000 miles on them right now. So by the time we get their replacements, they'll probably be at almost 500,000 miles. So, and some, you know, at least one of the buses has an engine that was replaced several years ago. So that technically is supposed to add some life to the bus, but it's still going to have close to 500,000 miles on it. So.
Okay, Alderman Brown.
Okay, Lisa, I have a question. When we get the buses, like the ads and things, different ads that are on the buses, who decides what the color and what they look like when they come in? Are they already designed, or how does all this take place?
Well, the default bus that we get from Gillig is just the blue and mint green and white bus with the Danville Mass Transit on the side. And then, you know, the advertising on these buses has traditionally been signs on the side of buses, and they've gotten completely away from that. So we don't even have ad signs anymore. Everything is a bus wrap. So that really changes the way a bus looks out on the road. I mean, you know, you've seen the buses that do have, I don't know if you've seen, we have one big bus that has Patel has,
Yeah.
and there's no way to even identify it as a Danville Mass Transit bus, except everyone just knows that's what it is. So.
That's what my concern, because you think it was Patel Law bus, you know, instead of it is,
Well,
all that red, and I'm just saying, you know, that's why I was concerned about how is this all done since we're getting new ones.
Right. Well, those dollars that we're getting out of that Patel bus are definitely worth having a Patel bus on the road.
I understand that, but I just was wondering, you know, how I mean, like, since we're getting new ones, you put out for ads for this, or do they come, like, you know, how the design, the whole thing, how does it work? So
we have I'm sorry. We have a contract with Houck Advertising up in Wisconsin, and
Right.
they do our advertising. They do all of the sales. They make the sales calls. They They do all the work for us. They come and install everything. So,
Okay.
that's really paid off during this COVID time. That has been, an answer to prayer because we needed that money.
Sure, sure. So are these new buses, the other question is anything different on them than the old buses?
Well, as I mentioned, they will come equipped with the driver shield, the plexiglass encasement for the driver to, and that's something that we put on the buses, but we made those ourselves. So these are going to be, a little more professional looking than the ones that we did. Although the ones we did were fine, but probably no. I think that we are going to choose the option to get some more outside cameras because those have proven to be beneficial when we've had to investigate, an accident or an incident or whatever. So, we may get a couple more outside cameras, but that's probably about the only changes that we'll make.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Sure.
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions?
No, I was just surprised how many riders ride those buses in a year's time. I never thought about it. That's a lot of riders. So it's great that we have the new buses coming, especially with what we're proposing with the expansion of things going on in Danville. We're going to be needing those new buses.
And every new entity that is planning to come to Danville has talked with us about, they are planning a bus stop. So I'm real appreciative of that they're considering that a lot of their customers are going to come on the bus. So that's been wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, Bob, did you have another question?
No, I'm sorry, just didn't take down my hand.
Okay, seeing no other hands, roll call, please.
Alderman Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes,
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 8B's, items for information, everyone has a copy of Director B's monthly report. There is a couple new things on the updates she may want to talk to us about.
We have asked Petropoulos to take the position of the maintenance and facilities supervisor, and he had originally applied for the position, and he was a very close second to the first candidate that we picked. But Petro has such a good understanding of how things work, not only in the maintenance department, but overall the whole operation. And it's just been such a blessing to have him there because he is, he's the first one to say, I'll do that. I can do that. Let me take care of that. And so I think he's going to make an excellent maintenance and facility supervisor. So we'll have to find a new street supervisor now that can do those same things he's been doing. Next week is our triennial review, and typically a triennial review when they come on site is about a week long. Fortunately, I guess I shouldn't say fortunately, but they will be doing it virtually. So we only have 2 days of triennial review. So they sent all the information today that they're going to question us about and all the questions that they have about the operation. So, some people call it an audit, but they ask us not to call it an audit because it is just a learning experience. They're not going to take away our funding or shut us down because they don't like the way that we handle something. They're going to teach us how to do it right. So that'll be next week, Monday, Tuesday, and part of Wednesday. So.
Okay, Alderman Patel, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I just have a question. For those of us that are new and don't know, what does the FTA stand for?
The Federal Transit Administration. So that's where we get our federal funding.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah, and for the new alderman, the city has we get state and federal funding to run the Danville Mass Transit. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not really any city dollars that come out of the budget or anything. Well, out of local people's pocket, I guess I should say.
It's all user fees. So we have fare box So 65% comes from the state government and 35% from the federal government. And then we have local fare box revenue as well as advertising dollars that help supplement that to help us provide the service to the community.
Director Beath, you and I talked earlier. Jennifer Hess had contacted me. She had spoken at a city council meeting, and they're wanting to start a bookmobile again or try to look into that. Maybe you could just kind of go over what we had talked about as far as older buses and different things.
Sure. Well, once a bus becomes past its useful life, which the ones we're replacing are, they're already past their useful life. At the 12-year mark, they are. And so we are able to get rid of those. And with permission from whatever source we purchased the bus from, we could donate that to someone. However, right now, we don't really have a bus that is in donatable shape because, as I said, the only one we have off the road, we're taking everything that we possibly can off that bus to repair other buses. So, by the time we get done with that bus, there's not going to be much left of it. It'll probably be scrapped, unfortunately. But, once the new buses come, it's going to be a couple of years, but we should have some decent buses then. However, I did tell Chairman Poor that Bob Richard had contacted me a couple of years ago about a science bus for the school district. And that was his dream to have this, traveling science bus. After he did some investigative work on the cost, he found out that it would be much more cost effective to just buy a brand new science bus rather than to try and rehabilitate one of our old buses. And at that time, we did have a bus that we could have given him. However, it just wasn't going to work out. It was going to cost more to rehabilitate that bus than it was to just go purchase a new bus, which, unfortunately, that might be the case with the bookmobile as well.
Right. And a couple of us are old enough to remember the bookmobile driving around and coming to the schools.
Yes. Part of my childhood.
There you go.
Yep. Nancy Drew books.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Director Beath.
Sure.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 9, Public Works Director Carpenter. This is one of the longest Public Works agenda items under Director Carpenter's that we've had for a long time. 9A is a resolution authorizing repairs to the fire department engine number 2. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Director, I think there was an email went out about this, but you want to say
Yeah,
it
well,
again?
I only emailed, I believe you, Chairman and the Mayor. The engine actually had a piston that a valve came loose on and went through the piston, causing catastrophic engine failure. Locally here, Kaufman's Trucking, who has access to Cummins engines, was able to give us a decent quote on one. This work has actually been performed already since it's an emergency piece of machinery.
Okay. Yeah.
And the engine was readily available. So I told him to go ahead and get it installed. We can't go a month and a half without this vehicle. Just this past Friday was a fine example of that. They actually had several calls at the same time. And fortunately, at the same time, I got a call that this truck was completed. So they were actually able to pick it up last Friday after a couple of the other calls were cleared. That truck is actually back in service as we speak. And as you see here, it does have a 1-year warranty on the engine itself. And that truck actually had, let me pull up my numbers here. There are actually 110,000 miles on that particular engine, but it's not just the mileage on those engines for fire trucks. It's the actual hours. I don't have the current hours off the unit, but typically those things have over 8,000 hours on them when they've got 110,000 miles to boot. So
Right.
that engine had seen its useful life. And once again, that's a 2006 fire truck that engine was put into. So,
Okay. Any questions for Director Carpenter?
I do have one, Chairman Poor. What is the average life of a fire truck in terms of the mileage? You said this had 110 and had seen it, so it's best days, more to speak.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Alderman, really the hours on the engine are more important than the mileage a lot of times. As you know, those hours and miles on a fire truck are hard miles. They're not highway miles. They're not constant speed miles. And anytime they're sitting there running that pump, that engine's under a lot of stress. So I think the largest amount we have on any of our trucks is about 113,000 miles. So typically, if anytime you get over 100,000 miles on a fire truck engine, it's probably time for a minimum of an overhaul.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, Carl, back in the day, 4,000 hours was way too much for anything.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay, any other questions? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Watts,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item 9B is a resolution authorizing the disposal of inoperable or mechanically unsound public works vehicles. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So move.
Second.
Okay, what we're looking at here are these units have been placed out of service in the last 2 years. Typically, we don't wait that long, but we had a rash of them starting to go bad at the same time. As you see, the oldest one on there is a trailer that's been in service with the city for 41 years. Some parts are no longer available.
That's almost as old as me, Director.
Well, unfortunately, some people aren't on the screen that can claim that as well. But anyway, the dump trucks, every one of these have actual frame failures on them at this point in time. That, like you got an 08 and 09 on there. Mechanically, they're sound. They run good, but we have rust clear through the frames. We cannot repair that because of our liability. And we can't sell it as such. It would have to go to a salvage yard. No one would give us a trade value on something like that. Some of the others just have a lot of miles on them. One of the Dodge Dakotas actually has some engine failure problems. Those we could trade in possibly. All I'm asking here with this is that we be allowed to get prices on either trading them in or salvaging them out. I haven't gotten any prices from anyone yet. Normally, I'd like to try to do this section of it first. Sometimes if we get prices and then we take another month to get this resolution passed, and they want to change their prices. And I think it'd be better to just pass this now so that we're ahead of the game. And when we're ready to get rid of them, then we can do so.
Carl,
And as you can see, all that money would go back into the capital improvements of the general fund, which these were all purchased out of. None of these were purchased with a enterprise fund.
some of these trucks, the frames, I mean, we're taking out snow plowing operation and everything else too, right? Because of the frame structures.
Yeah, a couple of let's see, we got a Dodge 2500 that at one time had a plow on it. The International Dump Truck had one. The Ford F450 had one. Yeah, so, but they've already been replaced as far as
Right.
Snow plow equipment goes, though. So.
Okay. Hey, I don't see any hands. Any questions for Director Carpenter? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes,
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9C is a resolution approving the lease of the Danville Stadium to the Danville Stadium, Inc. Need a motion to put that on the table, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Director.
Okay, this is just a lease for the next, to run through the December of 2024 for the Danville Stadium Incorporated, which is Mr. Rick Kurth and Mrs. Jeannie Cook. They've been running the stadium for about 20-some years now, I believe.
Yeah.
Actually, longer than that. It goes back to the 90s, as a matter of fact. And the mayor and I tweaked it just a little bit. Very minor stuff as far as the days allowable for either the Danville Incorporated or the city of Danville, if we wanted to terminate it or change it. It went from a 90-day to a 30-day period where we would need to notify either one of us. Everything else is pretty much the same as we've had for at least the last 20 years.
Yeah. And this is basically city owned. We just lease it. We do the repairs, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a great, I guess, amenity to our city. Any questions for Director Carpenter?
Chairman?
Alderman okay.
Just have one question. I know other groups I've worked with have to supply liability insurance, like the KCs and stuff. And my memory is that the city was requiring $2 million for things like that. How long has we only required $1 million for this? And have we looked at this to say it's enough?
Yeah, Alderman. Okay, and it's been $1 million in this contract, and I don't know of any other contracts where we've required more than $1 million. There may be some out there, but I've not seen them.
I know when the Knights of Columbus used to stand out on the street, they had to provide more insurance than that. And I'm just
that's a completely.
Have we talked to our insurance people if that's enough to as things have changed over the years, if that should be looked at?
Yeah, I can check with Kathy Corson. She can.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I think most events and things, it's $1 million. Name of the city's additional insured was $1 million. So
This doesn't have anything to do directly with the lease, but the improvements and things that were there done this spring. Is everything complete on that, Director Carpenter?
No, not yet. They're still finishing up on the wall, and then they have to get it painted as well. And I encourage you to go by there and look at it. It's
Okay.
tremendous looking.
beautiful.
Yeah.
They're hoping to have it open or everything finished by the 75th anniversary, right?
Well, we
passed-
requested to them to have it done by the end of this month. So.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I was wondering, if we were close, because when's the anniversary date? Was it this month?
It's June.
Yeah, it's
July.
July? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
July 27th or something in there.
Okay.
They're having something there. I know they're having something June 29th. I think that's when they're celebrating Ernie Banks and some others during one of the games.
Alderman Brown, July 24th is the 75th anniversary celebration. However, we are hoping that they'll have it ready in time for season opener. They're pushing for it.
Okay.
Mayor, remember the date for the June? It says June 20 something when they're.
June
I was talking to
20th June 20th is going to be another special day, but Jamie has asked that I not announce that until we're going to do a big media thing.
Okay.
So just know June 20th is going to be another great day that afternoon at 1 o'clock.
Alderman O'Kane, you have another question?
Oh, I did take my hand down.
Okay. All righty. Roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9D is a resolution approving a professional service agreement with Fair Graham for Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental assessments at 814, 816, and 818 North Hazel Street. Need a motion to put that on the table.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Okay, questions or
I
corrections?
will let Logan answer any of these questions because a lot of this pertains to TIF money as well.
I see, Alderman
Heidi.
Patel has her hand up.
Yes, sir. So, I bugged the mayor late last night because, I was confused. So hopefully I can get a little better clarification today. So it says on the second whereas that the city of Danville has identified potential contamination on multiple sites located at the southwest corner intersection of North Vermilion Street and Fairchild Street. So I'm trying to figure out what is the correlation between the southwest corner of North Vermilion and Fairchild with the addresses of 814, 816, and 818 North Hazel. Somebody make it make sense to me.
Yeah, it's gonna need to be revised to an E. It's a direct tie to 815, 817, and 821 North Vermilion, which is the only structure there is the First Farmers Bank site. 817 North Vermilion used to be the old Fonders Dry Cleaners, and we have identified some amount of contamination, and now we've identified contamination on 821 North Vermilion, which is the First Farmers Bank site. So it's directly tied to letter M for the purchase of the property as well. And this is a part of doing the due diligence to hopefully enroll this site with the other three into an EPA site cleanup grant.
Okay.
Alderman Patel, you are correct. That should say southeast corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll have the clerk reflect that in the minutes so that it's stated appropriately.
Thank you.
That's that, Alderman Patel. Okay, other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Four,
Oh, yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9E is a resolution approving payment for repair of the National Street box culvert. Need a motion to put that on the table?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is actually where Cohen Creek runs under National Street before, and then back under the old building we tore down on Main, and then back underneath Main Street going into the VA compound. The owner of the house there, that there's a sidewalk that goes over that, which is part of their driveway, and it started to sink in and break up, and through investigation, we found that the culvert was actually cracked and had a hole in it. So it is a concrete, very large culvert. You could, well, some of us could stand up and walk in it. It's big enough. So it had to be done. It wasn't something that we could let go on any further. So that was repaired, and that job was finished about 2 weeks ago.
Any questions for the director? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Patel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Four,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9F is a resolution authorizing a budget amendment in the Community Development Division 060. Need a motion put that on the table, please.
So moved.
I will let Engineer Cole address you on this.
Was it,
Well, we need a second.
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 Okay. Engineer Cole.
All right, so basically, you all approved this purchase, in the last fiscal year. kind of in the heat of the battle towards the end of the fiscal year, we got the line item transfers and everything done, but we didn't get the final PO put in, basically due to some people being off and just, it slipped through the cracks. So essentially the money went back into the general fund reserves. So we're asking to amend this year's budget, pull the money from the general fund reserves and fund the project as it was previously approved. So.
Questions for Engineer Cole?
Well, I noticed that was over the approved budget for repairs to start with. What put us over the budget there, Cole?
Which, are you talking about the past one? This would be for the, it wouldn't be for repairs. This is for professional services, item 9F.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I don't see any other hands. Roll call, please.
Alderman Pashard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
4,
Yes,
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. If there's no objection, I would like to take 8G, H, and I together. G is a resolution award bid number 668 for 2021 pavement markings. Resolution 8H is awarded bid number 669 for 2021 crack seal programming or crack sealing program. And I is awarding bid 67 for the 2021 seal coat program. As I said, there's no objection, like a motion to take those three together.
I would second that motion.
Okay,
Moved by Alderman Brown and seconded by Alderman Iverson.
who wants to, anybody want to explain to the new alderman what this involves?
Yeah, I can take that one. Basically, these are just general pavement maintenance activities that we do pretty much on an annual basis. So this will be something that, in most years, you'll see these projects recurring. We'll go out to bid for them. The projects are funded with motor fuel tax dollars, which are dollars that flow through from, the state's levy on motor fuel tax. And then part of that is distributed back to the city for road, type improvements and maintenance activities. So, and there are various locations all over the city. We generally, each program has kind of its own criteria that dictates where we decide to do those projects. But I did furnish maps that show the general areas. It would just take a huge map to show detailed views of everything. So,
Yeah, I guess I should call you Vice Chairman O'Kane.
Whatever. Free Hill Asphalt Incorporated is a new name to me. Where are they from, and have we used them before?
Yeah, they're from Watseka. They were actually our contractor last year for the crack sealing program, if I can say that. And they did a good job for us last year.
Okay.
Evidently they made enough money they were willing to come back and do it again this year. But
Okay.
I think they were the most local of the three bids that we had on the project. So,
And I was kind of surprised to see bids so close together, but
I know I was very pleased with that. So
okay.
that's good. Good competition
you.
in the marketplace for that. So
For a while.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Engineer- Chairman, if we could, Engineer Cole, while we're on this, because it's directly relevant to this, could you explain to for the new alderman why we might do some streets and not others? What the common question you're going to get, Alderman Patel and Alderman Wands is, well, why are they doing this street and my street is so terrible and they're not doing anything to my street? Sam, can you just give a little bit of the logic on how we
Sure.
choose streets and why that could possibly be the case in some instances?
Yeah, I would say that there are probably many cases in which people perceive that we are working on streets that are in better condition than their street, and their street's not getting work. And in many cases, they are correct. That would be because we're investing money in maintenance dollars where the roads are salvageable, and where spending maintenance money will buy us a lot more life and prove to be worthwhile. There are many of our streets that are to the point where they're really not salvageable. They need to be reconstructed. And we simply don't have the dollars to go through the reconstruction that fast. If we sunk the dollars into the roads that were the worst, we would essentially not be covering very much ground while everything else continues to fall apart. So unfortunately, like one of the hardest parts of my job is telling people, yes, you're right, your road is terrible. You're absolutely correct that it needs completely replaced, and this it just doesn't fit into the strategy that we're able to roll out. So we're continuing to develop, that we've made a lot of strides in the last 2 years on our roadway maintenance strategy, and having a rating system to help us figure out where to go and what roads to focus on. But we've got a long ways to go, and we're continuing to explore that project, or explore basically the most cost-effective strategy for maintaining and replacing the roads in the city. So,
Sam, the street inventory program. I mean, all the streets have been looked at and rated and things, and
yes,
that's how you
move
forward.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, we rated every block in the city from 1 to 10. And, we have inventories of what type of pavement they are. We selected different maintenance activities for, various street ratings of when would be, an ideal time to do a certain maintenance activity like crack sealing or seal coating. We're actually we have through DATS, there's actually a request for qualifications out right now to redo the road rating system and to do a detailed look at what we need to spend on maintenance dollars, and replacement dollars, and various types of activities to maintain our road condition, to slightly improve our road condition, or to improve it to a condition where it is more desirable, let's say. So hopefully by the end of this year, that study will be wrapping up, and we'll have some really good information that better tells us all how our funding compares to what we really need. So.
And again, people don't understand how important the census is, and every dollar we receive is based on population. I mean, motor fuel tax, various other funds is based on population. So, we have sometimes we don't get what we should really get because people didn't, complete the census.
Chairman, I have to tell you, I'm really proud. This year, Danville and Vermilion County, we had the highest self-return rate in the country.
That's wonderful.
So our people did a really good job this year getting census back, and it still was only about, I think, 69 or 70% of the folks. So, but good job, folks. We gotta keep returning our census every 10 years.
Right. Okay, I thought I saw somebody's hand up, but it's down now. Okay.
Passed. Are we going through K? Are you going through item K?
No, we did. We're through I.
Just right. Okay.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Wise,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
yes,
Ford,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9J is a resolution awarding bid number 672 for pump station improvements and authorizing a budget amendment in the storm and sanitary sewer fund, number 402. Motion, put that on the table, please.
So move.
Okay. Okay, Sam.
All right, so this project is basically replacing 3 of our smaller pump stations, 2 in Danville West, 1 on Lake Ridge Court. This project's been kind of in the design phase for about 1.5 years, maybe even 2 years, as we kind of worked out some kinks on easements and things like that. So I was very pleased. We had 4 bids on this. That's not typical for our pump station projects, where usually we have 2 or 3. And so anyway, it's just great to see interest in the projects. And once again, a really tight bid. There was only $1,400 between the low bid and the next low bid. And, that was less, it was 0.2% bid difference. So that's just incredible on that scale of a project. So.
Right. Okay, I'm looking for hands. Don't see any. Roll call, please.
Vice Chairman O'Kane,
Yes.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
yes,
Bonds,
yes,
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes. Okay, Alderman, okay, now we're at 9K, a resolution to order bid number 673 for the 2021 miscellaneous concrete improvements. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
Entertain a motion. Or make a motion.
Second.
Any questions, discussion?
Could you give me an example of one or two of these curbs or areas and stuff that curbs and ramps and sidewalks you're gonna be doing? In
Yeah,
different
sure.
area all over town.
Many of them are scattered all over town. There are areas where we have had, complaints about the condition of sidewalks or something we've investigated them and they pose, say, a significant risk. So it's something we need to get on fairly quickly. Probably the area where the most improvements are going to take place, and that's where the TIF funds come in, are the sidewalks and curbs around Gilbert Street Cafe on the side road there, basically. That area's in rough shape. They've invested a lot of money and, we'd like to see that, be a good looking area and an example of what the TIF funds can do to help improve an area when somebody makes the investments like that in there. For the most part, though, the rest of them are, some of them are curb ramps in areas where we will be doing the overlay program. And the overlay program actually bid 671. It's out to bid right now, and we'll open on the 25th. But when we do a mill and overlay project, we're required to upgrade many of the curb ramps to ADA standards. We've just started bidding that as a separate project because we get more contractors that can bid the work and, just specifically do the concrete work for those improvements.
We did that last year on Quincy, right?
We did, yes. And once again, we actually, we had 6 bids on this, and that's just a great, that's a really good bid environment for the city. So.
Thank you.
Full hands, roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Oh, Chairman, Alderman Patel, I think, did you have a question?
Yes, in reference to the curb ramps, are those the ones for wheelchairs that I've been seeing being put in? Is that what
Yes.
we're talking about?
Yeah, that's correct. Like basically at the intersection, and we don't necessarily upgrade every curb ramp at an intersection if we do the overlay. We're required to upgrade the curb ramps that cross the surface that we will be overlaying, if that makes sense. Because we're improving, the ability for a person to get across that surface. So we have to improve the things adjacent to it as well. So.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyone else? Roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes,
Yes.
Bonds,
yes,
O'Kane,
Vice Chairman?
Yes,
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9L is an ordinance approving the acceptance of right-of-way for the Logan Avenue, Madison, and Chandler Street intersection improvements. Need a motion to put that on the table?
So move.
second.
Okay. Who wants to take that one? Or are there any questions? Let's put it that way. Okay. Don't see any questions. Roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes,
Bouchard,
Yes.
Bonds,
yes,
O'Kane,
yes,
Brown,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9M is an ordinance approving the purchase of real estate commonly known as 814, 816, and 818 North Hazel Street. Need a motion to put that on the table.
so moved.
Second.
Any questions? Don't see any hands. Roll call, please.
Alderman Patel,
Yes,
Bouchard,
Yes.
Bonds,
yes,
O'Kane,
yes,
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. If there's no objection, I'd like to take 9N and 9O together. We discussed them earlier during the public hearing. 9N is an ordinance authorizing vacation of a portion of New Street for OSF healthcare systems. 9O is an ordinance authorizing vacation for north-south alleyway near 6 Way North Gilbert Street for Salimi Properties LLC. If there's no objection, I need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Don't see any hands. Roll call, please.
From Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Moving on to 9P, items of information, Director Carpenter, anything on any of those 3 items?
Other than project updates, you may see there's a lot of work being done on road edges that are going to be overlaid, crack sealed, that type thing. We're doing a lot of the asphalt edging again, like we did last year, just to prolong the life of those roads. Of course, we're busy with yard waste. Our mowing crews are out mowing. Just be patient. That first mow, as we all know, is the hardest one because of the rain we're getting right now, but we're making headway with it. So that's all I've got.
Right, good. And I do have a question on being able to go in and purchase yard weight stickers. Is it they can get them at City Hall or at the Public Works Facility?
Yep,
But it's limited. But it's limited to certain times.
I don't, City Hall, I don't believe they're open till after 1 o'clock.
Right, okay.
Public Works, we're open from 7 a.m. until noon, and then from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Okay. Guys, people said weren't
Chairman, they
sure.
also will be able to, they also can call and purchase them over the phone.
Yeah,
If they
right.
have their credit card, and we'll mail them directly to their house as well. We've had a lot of success with that.
Right.
Oh, and we did finally get our shipment of containers in last week. We've already sold about 75 of that 500. So
Wow.
there, a lot of those are back orders, of course, but those are all in again, and we're having great success getting rid of those already. So hopefully we're good for a year on those.
And then I don't know if Ashland's on here.
Yeah, she is.
Ashland, do you want the joint media release? You want to say anything about that?
Sure, yeah, I can. So the city worked with Danville Sanitary District to put out a joint press release for citizens regarding the separation of billing. Currently DSD, or I guess from now previous, DSD has been sending one joint bill with their charges and our charges together. Starting this month, citizens will be receiving 2 separate bills in the mail. Those are both currently being sent by Danville Sanitary District. And then starting in November, citizens will receive their first bill with city charges from the city. So this is the first step in that transition into separating that. So.
And I'm not sure if the alderman had a chance to look at that one out today, but if not, go on your city email and you can see the different samples of what the bill will look like and different things. Okay, thank you.
I have just a comment to make to Director Carpenter. Last year I mentioned about the mowing, and I know you just commented on that, but I'm starting to get complaints again about different lots. And I know you said you moved from the north to the east. Am I correct on that, or are they still doing it that way?
We actually started the east end this year because, as we've tried to explain to you guys for years, the soil in the east end of town is much more fertile and the grass grows quicker. So I believe we're all the way past College Street, or roughly in that area at this point in time.
Okay, yeah, because you know where I mentioned last year, I guess that's Jewel Street and then Kimball Street.
We got those today.
Okay, because I got a call about 7:30 this morning. Are we gonna get? I said, be patient. I said, I'll mention it. Matter of fact, I'll mention it at tonight's meeting. I said, but they should be getting close to it, but I just wanted to mention to see, I hadn't been over there. I didn't go over there today, but she called and asked me about it.
He was actually mowing them right around lunchtime today.
Now, Alderman Brown, you have a feather in your hat. Alderman Brown.
Got that done quick for you.
But thank you, Director Carpenter.
Yes, yes.
Are we still doing them every 6 weeks as like we did last
Now,
year?
the first round may take 6 weeks, but we're gonna do absolutely everything we can to mow them once a month.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Carpenter. Okay, item number 10, closed session. There is no need for closed session. Item number 11, item of information. Okay.
Chairman, I'll just say quickly to the new aldermen, you will see, I cannot authorize any expenditure over $20,000 on my own. So anything that's $20,000 or above will come to you. And that's why you saw an item or two tonight that, wasn't incredibly expensive, but still over that 20,000 mark that came to you. Also wanted to say it was nice to be able to drive down my road across town to City Hall this morning. So excited to get those lights up and going. So, we are still, I have a very preliminary date from Carl. They said not to ask me not to say anything until they finalize it, but we are still shooting for a mid-June groundbreaking date for the Carl project. So as soon as I have that, I'll be sure to let you all know.
Right. Anything on the casino, Mayor? How many years has this been?
I'm telling you, I wish I had, if I had even just a nickel for every time, even my dad, if I had a nickel for just every time my dad has asked me that, Chairman, I probably would have at least enough to go and get a steak dinner, so.
Yeah. Well, because it was a year ago this past March that we were up there, so it's been.
That's correct.
And I don't even know if the gaming board's meeting in person or doing anything, or.
I'm praying and keeping my fingers crossed that July, I don't know why, but there's some indication that we could have some information in July. So I'm hoping, and I do want to reaffirm that Wilma Wright committed that once that they have the preliminary suitability, within 9 months, we would have a casino opening. So we're still on track, but.
Well, that's good to hear because I even went to the doctor. My doctor asked my optometrist, well, we're going to get this casino in Danville. Are you guys going to lose that or what are you doing? And I said, be patient like we're doing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I said, we don't have an answer for you. He said, oh, I know. He said, but, we're talking about it in this community. I said, I understand. I said, we just don't have an answer for you. So,
As the mayor said, no one has received a license.
Mayor, I on the 5:30 evening news tonight on Decatur, they made the statement that Springfield is pushing for a casino. Have you all heard anything about that?
I have not.
Well, that's kind of disturbing news to me, but anyway, that's what they had on the news.
I hadn't heard anything about that, Alderman Broussard.
Okay.
All right. Any committee members' comments? Well, having satisfied the agenda, need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
And as Mr. Simon said, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands,
yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
4, 7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Again, thank you, everyone. Glad all the new aldermen participated. Hope you learned a little something. We do this every second Tuesday of the month, and we'll see you all next Tuesday for the full city council meeting.
Okay.
Thank
And with
you.
that, meeting is adjourned.
Be safe,
Okay.
everyone.
See everyone at the